welcome back to week 2 of the Power Up Your Business digital marketing course. We had a good attendance last week. We had quite a few people watch the video afterwards, so people that aren't in the room are kind of catching up after the course. Week 2, this week we're going to cover one of the most important things, which is your thank you page, go through about some of your website copies, social proof, and call to actions. So just to kind of be clear, I know that some of you are new to the course. David's joining us for the first time today. David, listen in. We will email you out the notes, the slide deck and the video. So if you want to watch it again afterwards, so we'll email that to you afterwards. You don't need to take ferocious notes while you're doing it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So just to get some feedback from you guys, obviously we want participation while we're going through, just to kind of understand how you got on with the homework from last week about the customer avatar. So do you want to just, Jeremy, Sam, do you want to unmute yourself, and how did you get on with your homework? Well, go for it, Sam. Go first.
Right. So I did quite a lot of it, but some of it I did get stuck on. So the psychographic and the behavioural, I kind of felt I was guessing. So I think I really need to try and talk to my avatars. Some of the sort of fields I looked at and thought, I don't understand what it means: purchase habits, spending habits, brand interaction.
So
I didn't
some
quite
of those,
understand what I was looking for.
So some of those you will know, and it'll be kind of really clear depending on your industry that you're in. Some of those you'll be able to get from the analytics that we've got and we've built up on your site already, Sam. So for you, in your case, where you've got Google Analytics, so for their behavior, what websites they go on, all these other things, we can potentially get some of that from Google Analytics. So that we can kind of delve into in more data to get more of an understanding of your avatar.
Yeah.
Jeremy, how did you get on?
Pretty good, actually. Yeah, it was sort of things that we'd done before, but perhaps putting it all together onto one sheet was very useful. And we did I have tended to focus on just one of our avatars, if you like.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned, because I think that's probably currently the one that is most interesting to us, particularly from a digital marketing point of view.
Yeah. Some of the guys emailed over their sheets in for me to have a look at their homework. One thing that I noticed when I went through them was that when they got to the motivating factors, as in the why stack, as in the what motivates people in a positive way, as in what they want and what they don't want, their fears and frustrations and things like that, some of those people had put in their own fears and frustrations instead of their avatar's fears and frustrations. So it's important. Those are important to know, because those are things that we're going to need in today's session as well. So understanding your customers is kind of really important. Okay, so we'll crack on now. So the first thing that we want to do, and what's in this week's workbook, is we always start with a big thank you. So, and this is about understanding what happens when somebody interacts with your site and does what you want them to do. So when somebody buys something, or when somebody fills in your form or makes an inquiry, what happens on your website? Now, a standard kind of form will just pop up a tiny message which says thank you, but it won't change it, and it's kind of it's easy to miss. And Google Analytics finds it really hard to track that. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that when somebody takes the time to fill in your form and make an inquiry, you take them to a brand new page, right? Now, the importance of that is that the URL changes so that we can actually track that really easily in Google Analytics. You're explicitly telling them that this form's been completed successfully, but then you can actually go to another level on that thank you page where you can give them more testimonials, more case studies, your social media links. And what that does is that can actually, after somebody's made an inquiry to get a quote from you, they can actually look at what good work you've done and it can increase your sales conversion process. So that's kind of one thing that we would suggest, that when you've got a thank you page, if you craft that well and give that consistent attention and make it that better all the time, your sales conversion rate can go up simply by making a better thank you page. But the important thing for me is, because of the URL change, it makes it easy for us to understand in Google Analytics what is happening, which means that we can see what page and what source is having the best results. This is a screen grab from one of our clients, Google Analytics. And the conversion rate is how many people have filled in the form on their website. And we can see that the homepage has got a 1% conversion rate, but it makes it easy for us to identify which are the worst performing pages on her website and which are the best performing pages. And then we can try and replicate that going forward to other pages once we know what's working better than others. But it all comes back to the thank you page. Are we tracking the results, first of all? So first of all, for you guys, the first thing in that workbook is, when somebody fills in the form, do they get redirected to a thank you page? So that's the first thing to understand. So I know that Sam's, yours does. Jeremy, does yours?
Currently, we don't have one as good as what you've just shown there, no.
But does the form actually redirect to a thank you page so that it's trackable?
Not currently, no.
Okay, so that's the first thing on your workbook that we need to fix so that we can track things in the future. Okay, cool. David, I don't know have you got a website yet, David?
I don't have a website yet.
No problem. Then we'll work on your thank you page later as well then.
Yeah.
So the next thing we want to look at is landing pages. So landing pages, let me just admit Carol's here as well. So landing pages are what most people perceive a landing page to be as the home page of your website. And basically it's any page that somebody arrives on, it's the first page they see. And that can be diverted from Facebook or Google listings, your adverts, can go from any different things. And what you want is, you want to make that page as compelling as possible to try and convert someone either to make a purchase straight away or to make an inquiry so that they end up in your kind of sales funnel, right? So what we tend to find is that most people consider just the home page to be your landing page, but traffic will be landing at all of the pages across your website. So it's almost as if you need to treat every single page on your website as a landing page, right? So the most traffic will arrive at your homepage, so it is more important than the others, but you need to make every single page of your website compelling and use kind of the same prescriptive kind of items across the whole thing, okay? So how important is the homepage? In this example, this is kind of a screen grab from the same customers on the different pages on their site. And the homepage tends to get about 15 to 40% of the traffic landing at it, but is normally not the best performing page because people need to then find what they want within your site. What you'll find is that really you want people to land at the specific service or product that they are looking for, and then you will get a higher conversion rate. So just to understand that your homepage is not the best place to kind of convert people means that you've got to make that process of make a great landing page all through your site, okay? So now kind of we understand that all of the pages are landing pages. We're now going to kind of go through the essential things for a landing page to kind of have. First of all, it needs to load quickly. There are lots of tools out there to kind of try and help it load quickly, but if you put too much video on there, if you put massive picture files, then sometimes if it loads too slowly, people will not wait and they will just bounce away. So the biggest killer to a website is a slow loading site, and it will kill your conversion rate. So we need to make sure that we can optimize that as we go, and we can kind of go into more detail on that if you want more. So first, the real first thing to put on there is a clear headline on your website, right? Can you sum up your business in around 3 to 10 words? What you'll find is if people don't understand a page when they land on it, they will bounce away because they don't realize they've arrived in the right place, and they don't realize they've found what they're looking for. So here's just a couple of kind of screen grabs of websites that we've done. And you can see that the headline to the site there is that they're a same-day express courier. So it's instantly apparent that you know what this guy does. It's got a picture of a van. So, you know, you haven't really got to guess what this company does, right? This is another one. They're a letting agent. Their logo says they're letting and management. They're a guaranteed rent specialist. So they've kind of got that message in there multiple times, which means that they get a really low bounce rate because people understand that they've arrived in the right place and they've found what they're looking for. Okay. So this is the next item on your to-do list. So just looking at the homepage of your website, do you have a clear headline so that people do not need to engage their brain to understand what you do, and that they've found that they're in the right place to engage your service? So that's the first thing to do. So do you want to just take a moment just to take a quick look at your site so that you can kind of understand that? I'll give you kind of a minute just to have a look at your own site to do that. I'm just going to mute myself while you guys are doing that. Okay. Okay, how'd you get on with that? Carol.
Hi.
How you doing, Carol?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, our name is Learning Club, so at least prospects who come here know it's about learning. And then on the menu, it lists the different services we provide. And then there's a separate green line that says our specialist tutors are available for online or in-person tuition.
So yeah, so people understand straight away when they arrive without having to think too much. Fantastic.
That's right.
Excellent. Right, I'm going to carry on. The next thing that you need to do is make sure that there is a clear call to action on your website. You need to make sure that people understand what you want them to do to take the next step in order to either buy something from you or engage your services. And it's clear to make your kind of call to action kind of clear and not non-passive, right? So you want buy now, not find out more. You want book a call, get a quote, help me choose. Whereas if you make it a bit fluffy around the edges, you get less of an actual click-through rate. So really you want a positive, clear call to action that is direct and taking people to the next step, right? And that's the actual book a lesson, get a quote, those sorts of things. They're going to help get you more customers. You can also kind of categorize the people that come to your website in kind of 3 separate levels. You know, if you analyze the percentage of people who are ready to buy at any one specific time, there's probably only around 3% of people that would be ready to buy your services straight away. So what you need to do is you need to kind of potentially give them options on the call to action, so that if they're interested but not ready to book that call, they have a less commitment option so that they can kind of still hear from you and they kind of opt in, but they're not putting in so much commitment. So for instance, if they're ready to buy, they're ready to buy, then you want a buy now button. If they're just interested and they want to know more, then you can kind of go attend this webinar or here, download this book. If they're not ready at all, you want them to almost download one of your PDFs so that they've got more information about what you do. Now, if you can do that at the level where you can get their email address, then that's fantastic. But people are reticent to give over their email address. So any way that you can do a buy-in so that they can kind of download more information is going to be a better way to get them to understand your brand more and know more about you. Okay. So then the next question, Jeremy, I'm going to ask you this time. Have you got a clear call to action on your site?
Yes.
What does it say?
We will depend which landing page they come to, but it'll either say more information or book now.
Okay. So I think the way to deal with that is give them levels. So if they're not ready to book straight away, some way of capturing them if they're not ready to buy, because you're going to have a massive amount of people that don't book now. So it's about kind of taking the people that are interested but not ready and giving them an option next to the book now button. Right. So almost I want to know more.
Okay.
Carol, did you have a question?
Yeah, specific to that point, on my front page, I do have a a contact form for people to fill in, and it basically says, "How may I help you?" And then they fill in that information. I don't believe that has a call to action. It's kind of asking people to do something. Yep. So is that true that you would say that as well?
Well, that's almost in the messaging of kind of how it goes, and that's more of a passive message. You can change the message as in, get a quote, and then the form has a get a quote, or what type of lessons do you want, or what learning do you need. But it's about changing the messaging on there so it's more explicit and more direct. Okay.
Yep.
But then it's almost as if you have like an email that you send out every month to people with kind of learning tips, you could kind of go, don't want to book now, but receive our weekly learning tips. Okay. And that would be a softer opt-in for people than actually having to sign up to the lessons.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. The next thing to kind of do on there is, and this comes back to the understanding of your customer avatar and what they want and what their afters are. So what they want and what their problems are and the problems that you solve. So first of all, on that landing page, you need to kind of highlight the benefits. What is that customer going to go away from you with? David, I know you've not got your website yet, but I'm going to kind of ask you this question, and you've not done your homework, so I'm putting you right on the spot.
Yeah. All right, go on.
So as a personal trainer, what would three things be that once they've finished working with you, what would they have?
That they would have?
Yeah.
They'd have better health.
Yep.
Better knowledge of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be happier.
Perfect. Those are three perfect afters, David.
Yeah.
Good work.
Excellent. I know I didn't need to do the first one.
It will help. Don't worry. I'll send you out the video. So that's a perfect example. You need to make sure that what the person ends up with after they've finished using your service are highlighted clearly on that homepage, on that landing page. Okay.
Okay.
So, and this is where some of the people that sent in their homework didn't quite get the problems and wants. They put in their own personal problems and wants. So you need to make sure that you understand what problems your customer avatar faces, what they want to achieve, their fears and their greatest wants. So this is about understanding your afters for your company, right? So for instance, many people, what they will do is they'll kind of on their website, they will talk about what they do for people. And in the past, it's a kind of a common mistake, and it's really difficult to get out of the habit. You know, when I started, I used to talk to people about, well, we produce websites and you'll get more traffic to your website, and then you will end up selling more things. But actually, it needs to be the other way around. People are not interested in their website. They're interested in selling more things and earning more money. So the after for us providing the website and the marketing is not a better website. It's the after is bigger profits because you'll sell more. So understanding the thing that you do, the after that it causes, but actually then the real life proof of how that has affected some of your customers, that will be the lines that you use within the text on your landing page. So for instance, David, you just talked about people doing your personal training and they will feel healthier, but then you want real life proof of someone who has lost X amount of stone or is now, is running marathons, or, you know, is got a different lifestyle and is happier because of their interaction with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is, obviously I've given you your homework, but there's extra reading. Sam, I'm presuming you've read these already. I know you're a bookworm. Sam, you're on mute. This is kind
I
of...
haven't read either of them.
They're fantastic. And the benefit of these books as well is that you don't need to read the whole book. You can just choose the section of the book that you need, and you can just read the sections that you need. But they're fantastic on improving your understanding and your communication skills.
Okay.
So they're both extra reading on this subject of afters. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to kind of go and have a look at one of your landing pages. Do you talk about the benefits that you provide and the afters that your customers will have? Okay. Sam, I'm going to ask you on this one. You're muted again.
Not really is the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've failed on the clear headline because we have the rotating images that are actually there to sell our lead magnet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't got many afters either, so that needs a rewrite.
Okay. Well, that's something that we can look at. No problem.
There's a little bit, but you've got to scroll down to get to it.
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty with pages is that they're so long, is that people are used to scrolling. So they will scroll down. You don't necessarily need it above the fold.
Good. Okay.
Because
so there's a little bit, but probably not enough.
Yeah, if you think about how much content we've got to get on a page, there is no way you're going to get all 5 of these things above the fold.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the problems that your service solves. So for instance, this is your avatar's fears and frustrations. So, one of, kind of, do you save them time? Are they wasting time by not using your service? Are they liable to kind of get stolen from? Are they wasting and losing money? So some of the things that kind of we help our customers with is that if they get themselves a free website from Wix, the Wix website is fantastic and it looks fabulous, but it's not going to actually get them any higher on Google. So actually, it's like them opening a shop, but they're not having any customers coming through the shop. So they're actually wasting their business time. So understanding their fears and frustrations so that you can demonstrate how your service can protect them and get them away from their fears will also increase their motivation to buy from you. Okay. Now that one was a short section, right? But Jeremy, going to come to you on that one.
Yeah, I think we used to. Unfortunately, I think our website's got a bit obsessed with COVID safety because obviously we're working with children. So to some extent, certain things had to come off the website in order to get all our guidelines and processes and giving all the parents assurance, which I guess is solving a problem to some extent, that we were working in a safe environment. So I think some of that has got lost in the last 6 months.
And I think that's the whole process of when you build a website in the first place and then you kind of start updating it with different things. It's really it's easy to kind of forget what the core message is. So if you can get all of this stuff documented so you know what goes on a landing page clearly, when you make updates, you make sure you don't remove the stuff that you've kind of done in the past well. Okay. The next part, and this is kind of this section is really important. This is about showing your authority and showing how good you are. When you have a website, it's very similar to life. If people are like sheep, right? They like to follow other customers, right? And in life, if somebody's recommending you, then that goes a really long way. So, in face-to-face networking works really well because you're getting a recommendation. On a website, people don't know how good you are, so you need to reinforce it with testimonials. This is a customer who we've been working with for ages. Their testimonial page has about 80 plus testimonials on it, and their conversion rate is through the roof because of it, right? And when he gets inquiries from customers, and then they choose to use his service, a lot of the time, the reason that is given is his positive reviews and testimonials. So this increases how many people the percentage of people that arrive at your website that will actually inquire, but then it will also increase how many people accept your quote and start using your services. Okay, so this is enormous, right? This is a screenshot. So if you can see that here, that's a screenshot of how long his testimonial page is. We just put it all in one massive long page. But 3% of his website visitors go to this page, which is a huge amount that get to the page. They spend a long time on the page, and actually a huge 14% go on to his contact page. So this page is doing its job perfectly, right? And then what you can actually look at is you can look at reviews. Now, the cheapest option is just get to people to put reviews on Google. But it's not the easiest thing to do. They've got to be logged in on their Google account to do it. And some people are not very clued up to do that. Trustpilot is one of the paid services. If you're a tradesman, you can use WitchLocal. If you're an estate agent, there are specific things. I think there's House and other things. Depending on what industry you're in, there are industry specific ones of these, which will be good for you. And they will help drive more traffic to your website as well as help the conversion rate on the site. So that's really important for you guys to kind of be adding to the site. Now, what we tend to see, so this is our client and you can see he's got 83 reviews and he's got a 4.9 rating on there. So what you'll find is that people will click on him and go to him because even before they've arrived at the website, they believe his service will be better than his competitors. And one of his competitors is Asset Grove up there, and they've got 70 reviews, but guess what? Only 2.5 stars. So it's clear to see, even before you've arrived at the website, that the quality of service is not comparable. So it's amazingly important. The next thing that you can kind of put on your website is case studies. Case studies are really important for you to kind of show your service and what you do. They're good for us when we're doing search engine optimization, because I can kind of shoehorn in some keywords in there as well. But what they do is they show that you have a breadth of skill, a breadth of knowledge, and you know what you're doing. What this customer has done is they have linked the case studies to the testimonials. So it takes the testimonial that's come from the client, which is only, in this case, a couple of sentences, so it's not very long, but the actual picture of the client with his product and the link to the case study gives it more gravitas. It makes it more real. What we tend to see is we go to some customers' websites where they've just got a line of text. Thank you, your service is brilliant, Sarah, Essex. And it just is not believable. So by adding pictures, adding videos, adding case studies, it makes all of your testimonials more believable and will increase your conversion rate. So the two examples that I've used here, the upholstery company and that letting agent, their conversion rates are in the 8%, which is huge. And a lot of that is down to their testimonials and case studies. So this cannot be overemphasized. The other thing that you can kind of stick on your website are wow stats, as in these are kind of stats that I've just kind of pulled from our Google ads that we ran for our clients. You know, we just to kind of wow people with the numbers of what you do. If you've got scale, they're kind of easy things to kind of get together and add on your website. Then if you've got companies that you work with, if you're a business to business, then use the logos of those companies on your website, because when a new company comes along, if they associate themselves or feel that they're in the same kind of ballpark as the brands that you're already working with, then they will want to work with you more. This is kind of one of the strategic partners that we work with. And this this company logo page means that they get plenty of luxury brands seeing the companies and kind of going, yeah, they're kind of the same company as us. So we're happy to give them a call and see if we can work with them. Okay. Then if you've got any accreditations or awards, so Click Return, we're Google partners. And you know, we've been passing exams, and we have to pass a certain level of expertise in order to get those. So we put that on our website. John Cottrell, who's the coach, will be kind of joining us in the future. He consistently winning awards for the excellence that he does with his clients. So by adding those to your website, it reinforces to people that you are good at what you do and you can deliver results for them. So show your authority. So now this is over to you to just go and have a look at your website. How many testimonials have you got on there? Just as a quick look. So if you take a couple of minutes just and tell me how many you feel you've got on there. Doesn't need to be accurate to the exact number, just a ballpark figure. Carol, how many you got?
I'd say, I don't know, 60, 70 that are up there.
That is perfect. So
maybe it's
with
less.
60, yeah, with 60 or 70 testimonials will give you a good level of kind of confidence from the people that are buying from you.
But they're hidden.
They're hidden, right?
Yeah, so, I've got a couple on that first page, which reinforces what you were talking about. But I had someone, so because I've got so many tabs, I put it under the About tab.
Yeah.
And someone suggested not to call them testimonials, but to call them success stories.
Yeah. Yes, but it's key that they're actually on every landing page and they're easy to see.
No, I might have them on every landing page. I'm pretty sure I do have some of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also a way to get from the two that you put on the 2 or 3 that you put on the landing page to see all, so that they can see that you've got that level of huge amounts of testimonials.
Good point.
We've got quite a lot we've been through quite a lot today. This one's been a much bigger session than the first week. Now, what I need you guys to do to go through your homework this week is kind of identify your main landing pages. Obviously, you don't want to do this on, eventually you could do this on every page of your website, but look at your main landing pages, your main services page, your home page, and look at these 5 points that we've talked about and assess, have you got your call to action? Have you got your testimonials? Have you got a clear headline? Because people will be arriving at all of those individual pages to kind of review what's going forward on there. So your homework this week is to kind of do that. If any of you want to send me your homework once it's done, I'll cast my eye over it as well, and kind of, if you can just let me know the page that you're assessing with each time, then I can kind of look at the page as well. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. John has joined us as well. Hi, John. Are you there?
Hi, Brad. I was being good by keeping quiet.
It's a rare thing when you're quiet, John.
Thanks, mate. I'm not supposed to be confessing that yeah, anyway, we'll leave links and other talk for later.
So really what you kind of need to understand is that myself and John, we're here to help, right? So when you actually look at this, your website, and look at this stuff, you kind of get a feeling that actually there's quite a lot to do, and it might feel like you're having heart surgery, but actually if we can kind of break down the pages one at a time, then it becomes a much more manageable process. So if you need help, just give us a call. We are here to help. And we can kind of give you a helping hand to kind of get you where you need to get to on this stuff. All you've got to do is ask, okay? Oh, in fact, that's a slide I've not updated. It's not on workbooks anymore. I will make sure that I email you out this week's workbook, just in case you haven't already got it. The recording of this. So by Monday, I'll email you out the recording and all of the associated documents that kind of goes with it. So what we've also got is in that email that I send out this week is I'll send out the link to book an hour in my calendar with it as well. So if you want to just kind of stick an hour in my diary to look at what we've done so far, feel free, and we can kind of get started on that. Some people feel that they want to wait to the end of the course so they kind of understand everything that we're going to go through before they do that. But if you feel that your need is more urgent, we can do that straight away. Also, what I will also send out to you guys is a link to John's calendar as well. John will kind of help you with kind of the business side of stuff. So John, do you want to talk about what you could do if people booked in a session with you? You're muted.
That means they couldn't hear me laughing, so that's okay. So I've worked with Brad for probably more years than either of us would care to remember. My job is to help people's business run without them, so they have an asset rather than a busy job. Now, Sam, I can see you on the call. Good to see you. I don't know whether most of you are one-man band, sort of master technicians in your own businesses. And then it's about how do we make sure that, you know, your hours for the bang for the buck gets you to where you want to go. That's in a very simple terms what we do. I'm happy to talk to any of Brad's clients. Normally, if we're doing like a strategy session with you, might take up to about an hour. And all we're trying to do is work out what support you need, what sort of ideas, what sort of activities are going to help you best to get to where you want to go. Happy to do that for you free of charge. Sam knows what I'm like. So by all means, ask her. And we'll be as helpful as we can. That's our job really, is to be helpful. And if at the end of that, you think that could benefit your business, by all means, ask me. I don't sell at people ever. The only thing I'd ask you is, where would you like to go from here? And if you're happy to go ahead on your own, that's wonderful. And if you need my help, we can talk about it. So it's really easy. It's really simple. And we like to be friends with people rather than, you know, get people upset about being sold to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
anything else, Brad?
no, I think that is about it. Any questions? I mean, we've kind of rattled through it again, so we've finished in 45 minutes, which is fantastic. So I am going to be here for the next 15 minutes. If you want to hang around and ask any questions, feel free. Or if you've got questions now that you want to do in front of the group. Carol, go for it.
Maybe I've missed this, but I haven't heard you speak about Facebook. And my clients are quite, or my prospects seem, are you there? I seem to have lost
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. A lot of my prospects seem to come through that. That's one question. The second question is someone on your team au fait with Infusionsoft?
We've worked with Infusionsoft before. I don't use it regularly with clients. I've got clients that use so many different platforms. So we do work with marketing automation softwares, and we can help you with Infusionsoft. But we don't profess to be Infusionsoft experts, but we work in all automation platforms.
Okay,
yeah.
And the Facebook?
Yeah, I've got social media guys who will kind of help you understand the posts, getting posts out, help you understand the statistics of what's happening to the post once they've actually gone out, so you know how effective they are, and will help you kind of manage a Facebook advertising campaign. The power in Facebook is, one, getting your message out there, but actually, because you've got an audience already in Facebook and your Google Analytics, we can actually create a lookalike audience from the data that you've already got to reach people that are the same as the people that you've already got inside your system. Now, I know that it's important for you guys to understand who your avatar is, because the messaging that you put out to those people you need to understand who you're targeting within your messaging. So that's why it's important for you to understand your avatar. But companies like Facebook and Google, they know more about the people that go to your website than you will ever know.
Yeah.
Right. So what we can do is we can take your existing audience and we can clone it to a much bigger audience. And that is kind of the real power of what we can do in Facebook. If we've got some people already, then we can take Facebook's lookalike audience and scale it up. So, okay. Sam's got a question.
The Google Analytics that you mentioned earlier, you know, I'm a bit of a duh about those.
Yeah.
Is there an easy way of me finding them and interpreting them? Because I can't believe that a lot of this behavior and psychographic stuff is probably already there, because I never know where to find it.
Not so much. Well, that depends. Some of it will be if we're doing remarketing. So if we're doing the display network stuff, then, you know, when you go onto a website and then a kind of an advert follows you across all of the other websites, that will tell you kind of the websites that your visitors go to after they've been to your website. So you can kind of understand what their search habits are. So a prime example would be Paul Veal, who you know, Sam. We identified from his remarketing that people that were wanting to lease vans were visiting dog websites. And that's because they needed a big van to chuck their dog in, right? And now we didn't think about that when we were profiling his customers, but actually going into the Google Analytics and the Google AdWords, we were able to see that pattern.
Because he thought his market was tradesmen, didn't he?
It is tradesmen, but we managed to find another niche. Yeah. But we won't be able to tell you what religion they are, but we'll be able to get some of their search activity, some of their website activity, and we'll also be able to tell you their age, the devices they use, and information like that. So we'll be able to tell you whether they're on mobile, whether they're on tablet, or whether they're on desktop.
Yeah, I think I've seen that already when we've talked things through, that you do know that breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of the details we'll be able to get from Google, and some different ones you'll be able to get from Facebook. But yeah, next time we have a catch up, Sam, we can kind of go through that together.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Any other questions? No. Thank you very much. I'll catch you later.